The first update we have today is centered on the buzz around The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 15 cast shakeup.
Mm-hmm. Big news there.
Yeah, especially after a season that left key members, well, deeply estranged. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the significant changes.
Right. Who's in, who's out.
Exactly. And what these strategic shifts could truly mean for the future of the series. All right, let's unpack this. Reports indicate that Teresa Giudice, Melissa Gorga, Dolores Catania, and Margaret Josephs have officially been tapped to film test scenes.
That's the core four, yeah. What's fascinating here is that producers are setting up very specific one-on-one or small group sessions.
Like auditions, almost.
Think of these test scenes as high-stakes auditions. Yeah, almost like a controlled experiment. They're meticulously curating pairings. Maybe Dolores with Margaret, for instance, or Teresa with Dolores. They want to observe genuine chemistry, especially with potential new housewives.
See who fits in.
Exactly. The goal is to capture truly compelling footage and ensure those interactions feel, organic right from the start.
Right. Avoiding those awkward, forced moments that can sometimes derail a season.
Precisely. It's all about finding the right spark.
And as these test scenes are underway, it's clear production is also making some pretty bold moves on who won't be returning. We've heard that Jennifer Aiden, Danielle Cabral, and Rachel Fuda reportedly have not been asked back for season 15. That's a huge shift.
It really is.
But let's be honest, those cast members often brought a lot of the conflict. Is there a risk that by removing them, the show loses some of its edge?
That's the question, isn't it? Or does it clear the way for a different, maybe more sophisticated kind of drama?
Well, this isn't just a general cast shakeup. To me, it strikes me as a strategic, surgical strike, almost, on the show's biggest long-running feud.
You mean the Teresa and Melissa dynamic? Exactly that deeply entrenched Teresa and Melissa dynamic. By removing supporting players who were, let's face it, linked directly to that conflict, producers are signaling a hard reset. Their absence forces new character connections. It aims to break old, frankly stale storylines that I think had exhausted even the most loyal viewers.
That makes sense.
It's a high-stakes gamble, definitely, to ensure the show doesn't get stuck in a repetitive loop. It clears space for fresh conflicts or maybe even friendships to emerge for you, the viewer.
Okay, so beyond the returning veterans, there's talk of this batch of potential new housewives filming alongside them.
Right, the newbies.
But what about the fan favorites who aren't quite confirmed? Like, the fates of Jackie Goldschneider and Jennifer Fessler seem to be lingering in uncertainty. What does this sort of ambiguous status depict about production's approach?
This really illuminates the cautious, maybe even tentative approach production is taking. They haven't been formally invited to film full-time yet, from what we understand. But reports suggest executives are currently leaning more towards Jen Fessler over Jackie Goldschneider.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
Well, it suggests they might be looking for a particular kind of energy, or maybe a specific connection that Jen Fessler brings to the existing dynamic. Perhaps someone who can inject humor or a different perspective.
Without immediately falling into the old patterns.
Exactly. It's about careful integration, not just adding bodies to the cast list.
And it's also been pointed out that production is hoping to include key fall and winter holidays, including Halloween, in the filming schedule.
Oh yeah, classic Jersey.
That sounds like quintessential New Jersey flair, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and it's a smart producing move. Think about some of Housewives' most iconic moments. They often happen around holidays, right?
Halloween parties, Thanksgiving dinners.
Christmas celebrations.
Yeah.
These aren't just backdrops, they're pressure cookers. When you combine family drama with that forced holiday cheer,
things explode.
It often amplifies emotions, creating those unforgettable, explosive moments that feel authentically Jersey and keep viewers glued.
So the timing is strategic.
Very. It provides the show with that classic charm, grounding the narrative in relatable seasonal events. These events can, in turn, influence the storylines and provide natural settings for both celebration and, well, drama. It basically bakes the potential for high-stakes moments right into the schedule.
Now, here's the bit that really caught my eye. The plan is to unveil the returning veterans at BravoCon in November.
The big reveal.
Though it's apparently unclear if the newbies will be revealed at the same time. This kind of staggered reveal is interesting. So what does this all mean for the Real Housewives of New Jersey as these new dynamics unfold?
Yeah, what kind of renewed energy might these changes bring for us, the audience, considering how divided things were last season?
Next, we are going to talk about a recent social media showdown involving Alexis Bellino from Real Housewives of Orange County and her fiancé, John Jansen.
Ah, yes, Alexis. She posted on Instagram, basically firing back at a fan.
Right. A fan who accused her fiancé, John Jansen, of, using his past relationship with Shannon Beador just for fame.
And it's interesting how these public figures have to deal with this stuff, right? So publicly. The background here, just to remind everyone, is John first showed up on RHOC as Shannon Beador's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Then they break up. He actually sues her for $75,000.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that.
And then starts dating Alexis, who came back to the show last season. And they just announced their engagement in August.
So it's already kind of a messy history. And here's where it gets really interesting, like you said. Back in June, there was this rumor that John was texting a younger woman. Alexis denied it, said the wedding was still on. But then on August 19th, she puts this Instagram comment on blast from an account called @JustCallModelo.
Right, and the comment was pretty harsh.
Super harsh. It said, could you imagine suing a woman and then screwing her man and then him cheating on you too and still marrying him?
Yeah. And then someone else asked for clarification, and the same account replied, basically doubling down.
Exactly. Saying, texting younger girls doesn't ring a bell. Let me guess this was a lie. And dumping your ex-girlfriend after your 15 Minds of Fame came from her. And Alexis would not have been asked back if it wasn't for Shannon, too. Just brutal accusations all laid out there.
And it's just, it raises that big question about online accountability, doesn't it? Alexis's response in her caption was pure frustration. She called them social media keyboard abusers, all spreading lies and hate, and it's done behind a screen.
Yeah, and she pointed out the irony, right? That the fan's profile said, love God.
Yeah, questioning the hypocrisy there. Like, how does that fit with posting hateful comments? It's a fair point, I think.
She said she's blocked over 2,000 people she called mean, phony people. Said she's fine with constructive criticism, but not false lies.
Which is a common refrain from people in the public eye.
And she ended with a pretty direct warning. If you have the guts to be so hateful behind a screen, be ready to be seen nationally for your hatefulness and fakeness. Added hashtags like #blocked, #let's just be kind, love like Jesus would, spread joy and kindness. It's quite the message.
It really is. Taking control of the narrative, but also maybe fanning the flames a bit. Hard to say.
Definitely something to watch. All right, let's shift gears a bit. Next update we have about Denise Richards' eviction battle. This sounds much more serious.
Yeah, this one is definitely serious. It illustrates a really difficult legal fight for Denise Richards, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star. She's trying to get her estranged husband, Aaron Phypers, and his family out of their former home.
Estranged husband, right. They're splitting up.
Very much so. The reports clarify Denise, she's 54, filed court documents against Aaron, who's 52. She wants him, his brother, and his parents out so she can get her stuff back. And their split sounds incredibly messy claims of physical abuse, addiction, cheating, the works.
Oh, wow. So this isn't just moving out. It's contentious.
Extremely. Denise stated in the court papers she moved out over 2 years ago. Left a lot of personal items, crucially, things belonging to her late mother. She says she only did that because Aaron promised his family was moving to Canada, and they'd move back in together.
Okay, so that didn't happen.
Apparently not. And complicating things further, her dogs have been living there since May. She had surgeries after filming that show, Special Forces, and couldn't care for them temporarily.
So her dogs are still in the house with him and his family.
That's what the documents suggest, yeah. It really raises questions about property rights and, frankly, just basic accountability in a separation.
What prompted the legal action now?
Denise got an eviction notice from the landlord in June. It said proceedings would start August 23rd. The place needed to be emptied. The landlord also told her Aaron hadn't been paying rent and wasn't responding to messages.
So the landlord is kicking everyone out.
Seems that way. And Denise claims Aaron and his family have severely damaged the house. She depicts it as being in a state of disarray, even included photos.
Photos of what?
Broken flooring, boxes everywhere, clothes, papers. Just a mess. She wants to go back, get her things, get her dogs, but without Aaron there. And she wants to check for recording devices.
Recording devices. Yikes. What's Aaron saying?
Well, he filed his own papers, said he doesn't consent to her request, claims there's no emergency or exigent circumstance. And then he added that if her request is granted, he wants to be able to go get his stuff from her current place.
Wow, so real tit for tat stuff. Sounds awful.
It really does. A tough situation playing out very publicly.
Okay. Staying on the legal front, this next one is also a big one. Next update we have about Racquel Chevremont's $10 million lawsuit. This is the RHONY star, right?
That's right. Racquel Chevremont from Real Housewives of New York City. And this lawsuit is huge. The reports demonstrate she's filed a $10 million suit against her ex-fiancée, Mickalene Thomas.
Mickalene Thomas, the artist. I know her work.
Exactly. The well-known mixed media artist, Racquel, who's 54, is accusing Mickalene, also 54, of sexual harassment, theft, and creating a hostile and abusive work environment.
Okay, those are heavy accusations. But wait, they broke up years ago, didn't they?
They did, back in 2020. But here's the twist: they kept working together after the split. This lawsuit comes 5 years post-breakup, but relates to that ongoing professional relationship.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense. What are the specifics of the lawsuit?
Well, a motion filed August 8th in New York State Supreme Court claims Mickalene illegally diverted significant funds and business opportunities from their joint business entity over to her own company, even though Racquel was apparently entitled to 20% of the products she contributed to. The filing states Racquel contributed immeasurably to Mickalene's success from 2012 to 2022 as a strategic advisor and liaison.
So it's a business dispute wrapped up in personal history.
Exactly. And it really brings up questions about power dynamics, especially when personal relationships bleed into professional ones. The filing gets even more serious, though.
How so?
It alleges Mickalene repeatedly and improperly pressured Racquel to get back together romantically after they broke up.
Wow.
And when Racquel refused, Mickalene allegedly ultimately terminated Ms. Chevremont's employment. Racquel claims this violates New York human rights laws regarding workplace harassment and retaliation.
Okay, that's huge. And she joined RHONY just this year, right?
Correct. Joined in 2024. She's seeking not less than $10 million plus interest and fees. That figure tells you how significant she feels the damages were.
And their history is quite something too, isn't it? They were together a long time.
Since 2002, they even had a name for their partnership, Deux Femmes Noires. They focused on promoting Black and LGBT artists. Mickalene's work is obviously very successful. MoMA, Jay-Z's offices, one piece featuring Racquel sold for over $1.8 million.
That adds a whole other layer, doesn't it, given their shared history and goals?
It really does. Adds a layer of, well, sadness or irony to the whole thing. Mickalene has less than 3 weeks now to respond legally.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, let's shift from lawsuits to book confessions. Next update we have about Scheana, Shay, and Kristen Doute's conversation.
Right. Scheana Shay, of course, from Vanderpump Rules. This illuminates a bit of fallout from her new book, My Good Side, specifically how Kristen Doute reacted to a pretty major revelation in it.
Okay, what was the revelation?
In the book, Scheana shared that her husband, Brock Davies, had confessed to cheating on her 2 years earlier. This was back when they were living in San Diego during the pandemic, and Scheana was pregnant with their daughter, Summer.
Whoa. That's huge news to drop in a book.
Yeah.
How did Kristen Doute react?
Well, Kristen went on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast and basically questioned the timing. Why wait so long to reveal it? And she sort of suggested Scheana threw Brock under the bus by putting it out there like that.
Okay. Friends commenting on friends' relationships publicly.
Yeah.
Always tricky.
Very. But Scheana says Kristen actually reached out to her before that podcast interview even aired.
Oh, really? To apologize?
To give her a heads up, basically. Scheana said Kristen told her she had said some unkind things about Brock. Scheana appreciated the warning, but, wished Kristen had just talked to her first.
Yeah, that makes sense. Get the context.
Exactly. Scheana recounted, and the second I explained why I put it out there, she goes, oh, I get that. I understand that. So I'm like, next time just ask me first. We're friends. You don't need to go talk about it on a podcast when you don't have all the context.
It's like a pretty mature way to handle it, actually.
It does. It raises questions about how information gets shared and interpreted in that reality TV circle where everything becomes potential podcast fodder.
So where does this leave Scheana with the rest of the Vanderpump Rules cast? Are they all still close?
Scheana was pretty direct about that. She said, not really, no. Here and there a text, but everyone's just kind of gone on their own path, and I wish everyone the best.
Sounds like things have definitely shifted.
Yeah, she mentioned she hangs out more with her mom friends now, Michelle Saunier, Janet Caperna, and Brittany Cartwright. It feels like a natural evolution, maybe, especially after everything that happened last season.
Yeah, could be. People grow up, move on. Okay, next update we have about Teddi Mellencamp and Tamra Judge. Back to the housewives.
Right. This involves Teddi Mellencamp from RHOBH and Tamra Judge from RHOC. It depicts Teddi expressing some strong opinions on their podcast, Two Teas in a Pod, which she now co-hosts with Dolores Catania from RHONJ.
What was she saying?
Teddi felt the RHOC cast should have been more sympathetic towards Tamra during her recent brain cancer scare, which became a storyline while they were filming season 19.
Okay. Yeah, that was unfolding on the show. Teddi felt they weren't supportive enough.
Pretty much. Teddi admitted she finds it hard not to take things personally, especially for her friend. She said, "Does nobody care how I felt? How I did, not from Tamra's sake, from all the other women," essentially asking why the cast wasn't rallying around Tamra more, knowing what she was going through.
And Teddi related to her own health struggle trend.
She did. She mentioned her own brain surgery and being on prednisone, saying, if you want to see somebody who's a mess, it's me on a shit ton of prednisone. She was basically highlighting how physically and emotionally taxing something like that is.
It really does raise that question about empathy on screen, doesn't it? Where's the line between reality drama and just basic human kindness?
Exactly. And there was that moment where Tamra seemed like she was going to quit the show. Some people suggested she wasn't serious, but Teddi insisted Tamra was genuinely done in that moment.
Teddi believed her.
Yeah, Teddi said she genuinely believed Tamra was quitting. She even recalled having to harass Tamra the next day to convince her to stay on the show. Dolores actually confirmed that part too.
Wow. So behind the scenes, Teddi was actively trying to keep her on. How did fans react to Teddi saying all this?
It was definitely mixed. The report mentions fan reactions to the podcast clip. Some totally agreed with Teddi, talking about a total lack of compassion shown towards Tamra by the other women.
Okay, and the other side?
Others were more cynical. Some accused Tamra of using Teddi's situation or her own situation for sympathy. Comments like, "Your friend used your situation as a scapegoat," or "Tamra was never seriously going to quit. She likes the fame too much."
Oof, harsh.
Yeah. And one person even brought up Tamra's past behavior, suggesting maybe she gets what she gives. Maybe it's because when other people were going through stuff, Tamra was kicking them when they were down.
So, kind of a karma argument. It really shows how differently viewers interpret the same events based on their perception of the cast members.
Absolutely. Authenticity versus strategy, it's always the debate with reality TV.
Next update we have about Jax Taylor and bar employee accusations.
Yeah, this is quite serious. The reports illuminate some really disturbing claims about Jax Taylor, who was on the Valley, and his alleged behavior with female employees at his former bar, Jax's Studio City. This was before he left the project in July.
Okay, what kind of claims are we talking about?
The core accusation is that Jax, who's 46, would allegedly love bomb, have sex with, and then discard multiple women who work for him at the bar.
Wow.
He's accused of using his power and charm to manipulate them, then ending things cruelly, all while going through his divorce from Brittany Cartwright. It raises major red flags about workplace conduct and potential exploitation.
So specific employees came forward, anonymously.
Yes, anonymously. One former employee claimed Jax made her believe she was the first employee he had ever been with and demanded secrecy. She also said he made sexual comments or inappropriate innuendos at work that made people uncomfortable.
Okay. And it wasn't just one person.
The report alleges multiple staffers slept with Jax. And it gets worse. He allegedly refused to use protection, but offered to buy them Plan B afterward.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's incredibly concerning.
It really is. Another woman who said Jax found her on Instagram and hired her claimed he pursued her aggressively, like talking about their future immediately, saying he was in love, classic love bombing signs. She described getting shocking sexual texts where he allegedly said he wanted to put his DNA inside of her. Just graphic and intense stuff.
Yeah, that's... wow.
This woman claimed he tells every woman she's the only one, but that it's always a lie, that he always has a roster of women. She described it as a system he's perfected like clockwork to cover his tracks.
A system. Like deliberate manipulation.
That's the allegation. The reports also depict him having intense moments of paranoia, suddenly blaming these women for things that weren't their fault, a pattern of volatility.
And how did the divorce factor into this?
Allegedly, he used the divorce from Brittany as an excuse, told these women he couldn't be seen out in public with them until his divorce was finalized.
Okay, so using it as a shield.
Seems like it. He's also accused of constantly blaming Brittany for everything, calling her a terrible person, making disgusting comments about her body and her looks, while positioning himself as the victim in the divorce.
So, painting himself as the wronged party while allegedly behaving this way.
According to these claims, yes. The women reportedly felt humiliated, angry, and really heartbroken by the whole experience.
I could only imagine. Has Jax responded to any of this?
The reports don't mention a response yet, but it's worth remembering this isn't entirely out of the blue. On The Valley earlier this year, his co-star Danny Bucco actually accused him on the show of sleeping with employees.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And Jax denied it then.
He did deny it at the time, but these new detailed allegations certainly add a lot more weight to those earlier accusations.
Yeah, they certainly do. The next update we have about MJ Javid and Gigi's hookups. This one's a bit spicier.
Ah, yes. This comes from Mercedes MJ Javid from Shaws of Sunset. The reports demonstrate MJ making some pretty candid claims about Golnisa Gigi Garachadugi's dating habits.
What'd she say?
Well, MJ claimed Gigi hooked up with Shep Rose from Southern Charm and Captain Jason Chambers from Below Deck Adventure.
Okay, wow. Crossing the Bravo streams there.
Exactly. And she didn't stop there. MJ also suggested Gigi might have had a past thing with Jax Taylor.
Oh, Jax. Really?
Yeah, saying Gigi is now looking for her next conquest. And this is all happening as Bravo just announced MJ, Gigi, and Reza Farahan are doing BravoCon 2025 and filming a new show, The Valley, Persian style.
Timing is everything, huh? So this came up on Jeff Lewis's radio show.
Correct. Jeff mentioned Gigi apparently wondering aloud who she'll hook up with this year at BravoCon.
Oh my God.
And MJ just ran with it, confirming the Shep and Captain Jason hookup, saying she's looking for her next guy, her next conquest.
Did she name anyone else?
Well, Jeff asked about other Bravolebs, and MJ said, back in the day, before Jax was gross, I think she might have said that she might have, had something with him.
Before Jax was gross. Okay, then.
She even threw out names for future possibilities, like Jesse Solomon or West Wilson from Summer House.
It's putting it all out there.
It really highlights how interconnected that whole Bravo universe is, and how willing they are to share pretty personal details about each other.
Yeah, no kidding.
And it brings to life Gigi's history of public spats, too. Remember her feud with Kelly Dodd? After Gigi celebrated Kelly getting fired from RHOC?
Vaguely, yeah. What happened there?
Kelly basically said she didn't know who Gigi was and got more love than hate. And Gigi clapped back hard, saying, I don't like insecure bullies who thrive off of belittling others. Out with the A and in with the class.
Wow. She doesn't mince words.
Not at all. Part of the brand, maybe?
Seems like it.